What's up, my Central Unit? It's the Central Man here, so back again with another classic WWE pay-per-view review. So this time going to review WWE Hell in a Cell 2011 at the New Orleans Arena. Right now it's called the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, Louisiana on the 2nd of October 2011. The attendance for the show was 9,400. This show received about 182,000 pay-per-view buys, a downgrade than the 2010 Hell in a Cell event. That show received about 210,000 pay-per-view buys. The main event of that show was Kane versus The Undertaker for the world title inside Hell in a Cell. I got a copy of Hell in a Cell 2010 on DVD somewhere in my house, but that was a snooze fest. So this was the first Hell in a Cell pay-per-view since the first brand split in August. Anyway, the commentators for the show are Michael Cole, Booker T, and Jim Ross. Jim Ross is filling in for Jerry the King Lawler. The Raw after Night of Champions is the last show I covered on this channel because I'm covering the half year of Punk. He got taken out by Mark Henry. So yeah, JR is filling in for the King. So, and also Triple H fired The Miz, Awesome Truth, that is The Miz and R-Truth. They're on the show. I'll get to them a bit shortly. So I'm telling the backstory, what's going on after Night of Champions 2011. So nothing much. Yeah, because this show took place about 2-3 weeks after Night of Champions. So there was no build to this. This is basically added to the last minute. So the first match to kick off the show, we got Christian versus Sheamus. I never knew they had a match on the show. I thought they had a match at Vengeance, but it's been a decade since Hell in a Cell 2011. So yeah. At the last show I covered, Night of Champions, Christian and Sheamus had a random segment for no reason. You know, Christian did the whole one more match thing, you know, the chants, you know, Sheamus, you know, trying to self-proclaim and say, I'll help you win the world title, you know, in your first title defense, I want the shots, you know, blah, blah, blah. Sheamus cheat shot Christian with the bro kick, and then Christian ended up costing Sheamus matches against Cody Rhodes for the IC title. So let's set up this match on the show. The match was good. I really liked this match. It was back and forth between Sheamus and Christian. Really good chemistry with both Christian and Sheamus. I think Christian hit like a spear off outside of the ring. He was getting a little bit frustrated because he cannot put Sheamus away. I think he hit the spear onto Sheamus inside the ring. I think Sheamus kicked out. In the end, I think he was going for like a kill switch or the spear, but Sheamus kind of thrown Christian into the ring post, hit the bro kick for the win. This is set up a rematch at Vengeance. I think 2 or 3 weeks later. Sorry, I'm trying to get my words out. And Sheamus win the second match of the feud. So what's the point? Yeah, the like tag team matches probably on Raw and SmackDown. Like I said, there was no brand split in this time. You know, it was ended until 2016. Yeah, Christian didn't really. I don't think Christian won a single match in the feud. You know, this is like something like John Cena's booking. You know, Sheamus is bit. You know, I would say Sheamus is. People say Sheamus is overrated, but yeah, it's a bit debatable. You know, but yeah, they made Sheamus like he's a superhero. Like, you know, beating Christian 2 pay-per-view matches in the row. Sorry, but I would rather have Christian win the first match and then Sheamus get his win back at Vengeance. That's just me. It's just whatever, man. But so yeah, it was a good match to kick off the pay-per-view. And by the way, like I said, Miz and R-Truth were on this show. Yeah, like because Triple H fired Awesome Truth the Raw after Night of Champions. They appeared in the crowd attending the show, and then you got John Laurinaitis at the time. He was the vice president of talent relations. And you got some security guards basically escort Miz and R-Truth out of the building. You got this whole fans were trying to let them stay. it's not the last time we'll see Miz and Truth on this show. So the next match, this is a battle between the two Sin Caras, Sin Cara Blue and Sin Cara Black. I'm not gonna say Black Sin Cara's the Black Sin Cara's name in Spanish. I'm not gonna get into it. It's a bit racist, towards black people. And Sin Cara's the Blue Sin Cara's name in Spanish, it is Sin Cara, but it's Sin Cara Azul. Azul is Spanish for blue. I'm gonna call him Blue Sin Cara, Black Sin Cara. Not saying the M word, not the I don't know why it is. I'm not gonna say it out loud, but there was no terrible matches on the show. I'll get to my final thoughts in the end, but there was no terrible matches on this show, but some of them are filler. This was one of the filler matches on the show. Wasn't a terrible match, but at the same time wasn't perfect. Like I said, there was no build up to this. I felt like some of these matches was added to the last minute. Basically, Sin Cara returned since the summer. I never knew he got suspended. I thought he got injured by Sheamus, at Money in the Bank 2011 in the SmackDown Money in the Bank ladder match when Sheamus powerbombed Sin Cara through through a ladder, sorry. So he came back, had this mini feud with Daniel Bryan, because at the time, Daniel Bryan is the SmackDown Money in the Bank holder. So he had this mini feud with Daniel Bryan. Sin Cara came back, and then the other Sin Cara became Sin Cara Black. I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna say the M word. I'm gonna spell it. I'm not gonna say it out loud, but spell it. It's Negro. Not gonna say it, but he basically challenged the Blue Sin Cara to a match on the show. Basically, he stole his identity. I don't want to get into it. This is basically random and add to the last minute. Like I said, it was an okay match, but besides that, no one really gives a fuck about this match. They got some reaction of the Blue Sin Cara. They were chanting boring, not loudly but silently. If this show was in a Hispanic crowd, in a Spanish crowd in America, if it was in California or Texas, maybe in Mexico, maybe it could get like a better reaction in this match between both Sin Caras. But unfortunately, since the show was in Louisiana, they got a bit of a silent reaction. It's just what it is. So I'm trying to keep it short, simple. It was an okay match. In the end, the Blue Sin Cara got the victory. Hit I think it's the Co-Red or the Canadian Destroyer or the Mexican Destroyer because they're not from Canada. But I think it was a sunflip powerbomb, but I call it like the Co-Red. The Blue Sin Cara hit the Black Sin Cara with the sunflip powerbomb for the win, and this is set up the mass versus mass match on SmackDown. If it was the SmackDown at before Vengeance, Sin Cara ended up winning Sin Cara ended up winning the second match of the feud, and then the Black Sin Cara forced to take off his mask, and then he became Hunico. He became Sin Cara 2 years later after the original Sin Cara got fired. Similar to the opening match, I'd rather have the Black Sin Cara getting the victory, and then you could set up the mass versus match there. It could really accomplish everything, but it's basically like the Sheamus feud and this feud. Both Sin Cara and Sheamus end up winning both the matches in their feud against Christian and the Black Sin Cara. It's just what it is, so I'm not going to get into it, so let's move on. So, I remember those SmackDowns and Raws in Mexico, anyway, so, the next match, this is for the WWE Tag Team Championships. We've got Air Boom defending the belts against Jack Swagger and the United States Champion Dolph Ziggler at the time, with Vicky Guerrero in the corner of both Ziggler and Swagger. Both Bourne, Swagger, the future Jake Hager, and Vicky Guerrero, they're currently in AEW. Anyway, so the match was good. A really good match between both tag teams. Back and forth. I think Ziggler. I think Bourne kicked out the zigzag attempt by Ziggler, but ref did not saw it. I can't remember. Some of the parts of the match was getting a little bit boring, but they told a good story in the ring between both tag teams. In the end, Bourne hit a Hurricanrana onto Swagger off the top rope. to win. Because I think Swagger was going for like a Swagger bomb attempt, and then Bourne counted into a super hurricane off the top rope. That was cool. Yeah, Bourne retained the tag team titles. They ended up having a rematch at Vengeance. That's another story for another time. Yeah, Swagger and Ziggler as a tag team. I don't know. It's head cheese booking, because I don't know. I don't want to get into it. I know what head cheese. Al Snow, Steve Blackman. Random tag team pairship. Ziggler's the show off. Swagger's the American. Yeah, you can call it head cheese booking. I call it head cheese booking. They've been doing it since 2000. It's nothing new, but so they end up getting attacked by Miz and R-Truth. Segments really later on the show, they got attacked by Miz and R-Truth, and they never got a rematch. So, like I said, they never won the tag team title belts. Swagger and Ziggler, same as Awesome Truth. I don't want to get into it. So, moving on to the next match. The next match, we got the first Hell in a Cell match of the night. We got Mark Henry defending the world title against Randy Orton inside Hell in a Cell. This is a rematch from Night of Champions. Henry defeat Orton to win the world title on that show. And become the second black champion to hold the world title belt. Yeah, because the second one was Booker T way back in 2006. I'm talking about the world title in WWE because he's been world champion since the days of WCW. But anyway, so The Rock is Samoan. It's a bit because he's half black. You can count as a black man. But anyway, so. Orton basically revoked his rematch clause because he lost the world title at Night of Champions, like I said. This is the problem with Hell in a Cell pay-per-views for the last 12 years. It's just basically Hell in a Cell matches of sake of putting for no reason. It's just basically Hell in a Cell matches of sake of Hell in a Cell matches. It's just what it is. It's nothing new. Anyway, so don't think they need to be inside Hell in a Cell, but Orton, Mark Henry was a fucking monster in this match. He's basically, I think Orton has some offense, but Henry has, it's between 75% Henry, 35% Orton. Slamming Orton near into the steel wall. I think he did a running power slam on the floor. The intensity was up. It was physical, but not that physical because like I said, today's Hell in a Cell matches are watered down. The quality went up ever since, but back then it was super watered down. But they cannot do anything inside the cell. I'm trying to keep it short and simple. I think Henry kicked out the RKO attempt by Randy Orton. Orton hit the finisher. Henry kicked out. It was starting to be a good match. Not a 4-star classic. I think this match is a little bit better than the match at Night of Champions because it was a bit boring. But I think this was the intensity was improving. It got a little better. In the end, Mark Henry got the victory over Orton. Hit the World's Strongest Slam for the victory because Orton was going for the punt kick, but Henry counted into the World's Strongest Slam. And then afterwards, he hit him with another World's Strongest Slam. Oh yeah, and before that he shouted towards Orton, "Welcome to my hell." That was good. Anyway, so he's about to induct Orton into the Hall of Pain, trying to break his leg. By the way, he injured the Great Khali on SmackDown to get some heat going into his match inside Hell in a Cell on this show against Orton. So he was trying to break Orton's leg. Orton got out of the way, hit Henry with the chair multiple times. I think Orton managed to, no, not Orton, Henry managed to get out of the way. Bit weak, so you're building Henry up for in that summer, build him up, being his dominant threat. He ended up running away. That's a bit weak towards Mark Henry's character. And by the way, Orton will never win the world title again until winning the WWE title at SummerSlam to kick off the Authority era in 2013, the start of the feud between Orton and Daniel Bryan. So that's another note I wrote. So the next match, first off, it was originally a segment before the match. So you had Cody Rhodes came out wearing the suit, and by the way, Orton beat down Cody. He said he had 9 staples in his head because he attacked Cody with a ring bell during his match on SmackDown. Remember that? I'll explain more when I review Vengeance. But anyway, so. Rhodes basically did his shtick about, if you can't wear the paper bags, you must be incinerized. You basically can't cut a promo, typical Cody Rhodes undashing Cody Rhodes shtick at the time. Can't remember what the promo says. He said something about you get utilized. Yeah, utilized. You don't wear the paper bags, you get utilized. Some shit like that. You end up like putting the old Intercontinental title bag. You put it in the paper bag, the old design of the IC title belt, and introduce the white Intercontinental title. I don't like that current IC title belt from right now in our current timeline. It looks shit. I don't mind that the original design before the white belt. They were good. They don't need to, change the design of the IC title belt. That's just me. So he introduced the white Intercontinental title belt. This was something like really paying a callback to the old IC title belt from the 90s. I think the 80s and the 90s, probably in the 90s. He name dropped names like Ricky Steamboat, Steve Austin, Bret the Hitman Hart, and then you got John Laurinaitis, the exclusive vice president of Tolerations, announced that he basically put Cody in a match against John Morrison. We'll get to that shortly. John Laurinaitis ended up getting in trouble by Triple H backstage after the Cody John Morrison match. We'll get to it right now. Yeah, it was basically a random match, impromptu match between Cody and John Morrison. It was a decent match for what it is. I think Morrison was going for like a springboard roundhouse kick, but instead Cody, I think he didn't really use the crossroads in this match. He basically rolled John Morrison up for the win. So it was a decent match for what it is. Yeah, I like the design of the white belt, but fuck that black and gold title belt from right now. I don't like that title belt design. It looks tacky. I wish they bring back the white IC title belt. So, moving on to the next match. The next match, this is for the Divas Championship. Kelly with Eve Torres in her corner, defending the Divas title. Sorry, I'm stumbling. Against Beth Phoenix, the Glamour Song, with Natalya in Beth's corner. This was the weakest out of the three matches between the matches at SummerSlam and Night of Champions. The crowd really didn't give a fuck. Really Beth has most of the offense against Kelly. Kelly had some offense, but the ending kind of bugged me a little bit. So basically Beth locked Kelly in that submission hold. It's the same submission hold they did on SmackDown when Natalya locked Kelly in that submission hold. Basically put her upside down, holding both her legs and arms, and Kelly started crying. It's just like, it's a callback what they did on SmackDown. It really brought the quality of the match down. In the end, Natalya says to Kelly, scream, Kelly, scream. No one gives a fuck. Natty hits Kelly with the microphone, and Kelly, Natalya basically beat down Eve. Beth hit Kelly with the Grand Slam for the win and become the new Divas champion. Too little, too late. I said in my review of Night of Champions, they should have really pulled the switch, put the belt on Beth in her hometown. Sorry, I'm gonna say it again, in her hometown of Buffalo, New York, because Night of Champions was in the hometown of that year, Buffalo, New York. But this was the weakest out of their three matches. The best have to be their match at SummerSlam. The Night of Champions match is in the middle. This match is in the bottom. I'm sorry. The ending was really put me off. And, Beth will hold that belt until, I think it was the Raw before Extreme Rules. So, it's the one and only title reign for Beth Phoenix as the Divas champion. And after that, she never won a single title belt ever again. Right now, she's a commentator in NXT. So, moving on to the main event. The main event, this is the second Hell in a Cell match of the night. John Cena defended the WWE Championship against Alberto Del Rio and CM Punk. This is the first Hell in a Cell match, the first triple threat Hell in a Cell match in WWE history. The last multi-man Hell in a Cell match was way back in 2000. It was at Armageddon, the 6-man Hell in a Cell match. That was not that. It was memorable, but not really a good match. So, like the Mark Henry Orton match, this should never be inside Hell in a Cell. Doesn't need to be Hell in a Cell match. This is basically thrown to the last minute. Cena defeat Del Rio for the WWE title at Night of Champions the previous month, become a 10-time WWE Champion. I think he became a 12-time World Champion overall. Del Rio revoked his rematch clause, and Punk, who haven't revoked his rematch clause because Del Rio defeat Punk at SummerSlam, was thrown together. So because Punk lost to Triple H and Night of Champions, so that's the consolation prize. So like I said, this was a really good match. I think it's a bit better than the Mark Henry Randy Orton match from earlier. They told a good story in the ring between Punk, Cena, and Del Rio. Del Rio stopping basically broke up the pinfalls because Cena and Punk hit their finisher. Cena hit Punk with the AA. Del Rio broke the pinfall, and then when Punk hit the GTS, Del Rio pulled Punk out of the ring. They used the cell wall. So the ending was okay. It wasn't a bad ending. I think it was a good ending. Basically, Del Rio's personal ring announcer, Ricardo Rodriguez, managed to get in the cell door. I'm guessing he got a key, opened the cell door with the key. Cena hit Ricardo Rodriguez. You know, he was holding a lead pipe. Yet Cena hit Ricardo with the AA. Del Rio hit Cena in the ribs with the pipe and then locked him up. I think he taunted towards Cena, did the "You Can See Me" taunt. The fans were booing John Cena. Oh, you got a bit of a mixed reaction. They're booing Del Rio, cheering for Punk. Punk hits, Del Rio hit Punk with the pipe 3 times because Punk was going for the GTS. Del Rio hit him with the pipe, hit him 3 times to win this match and regained the WWE title, become a 2-time WWE champion. Like I said in my review of Night of Champions 2011, what's really the point have Cena defeat Del Rio for the title? What's the point? It's just like, what's the point? You know, Cena won the title on that show, and 2 weeks later, Del Rio won the title back. What's the point? So afterwards, Cena managed to get back into the cell and beat down Del Rio, and then you got Miz and Truth came inside the cell, beat down Cena, beat down Del Rio, beat down Punk, and then you got all the WWE wrestlers out of the locker room, came out trying to. Basically, they're standing there like jamokes. Yeah, they're trying to get inside the cell. And then you got like the police officers and the other referees. I think they beat down Scott Armstrong, who's the referee in this match as well. So you get the police officers, and then they managed to open the cell door with the bolt cutters, and then Miz and Truth got arrested, and Triple H basically beat down Miz and Truth. That was good. I think that was good. This was set up the walkout the next night on Raw, and then 2 weeks later, I think it was the go home show to Vengeance. Vince basically relieved Triple H of his duties of running Monday Night Raw. He's still the COO, but not really running Monday Night Raw. And he appointed John Laurinaitis as the temporary Raw GM and kicked off the John Laurinaitis era in WWE between 2011 until the spring of 2012, or actually the summer of 2012. Jesus Christ. People power! I'm gonna do his impersonation of John Laurinaitis. My name is Mr. John Laurinaitis. I'm the president of. I can't do it. It's so fucking. You know, I got friends back in 2011, 2012 mimic his voice. You know, I like fans taking the piss out of his voice, man. You know, people power. It's just like, my name is Mr. John Laurinaitis. So it's just Jesus Christ, man. So anyway, before that, I'm going to change my final rating for Night of Champions 2011. I give it 7 out of 10. I'm going to change it to a 6 out of 10. This show is way better than Night of Champions. I'm talking about Hell in a Cell 2011. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. This was a better show than Night of Champions. Not a perfect one. I don't think you would, if you got this on the network, it's not make me go, I need to go back and watch this again. No, I think it was a decent show. You know, those shows between Night of Champions and Hell in a Cell, it's right down the middle for me of quality of WWE pay-per-views of 2011. Like 2011 is WWE's good year, not a great year, but a good year for the company. Nothing in the bad. Actually, I'm gonna put the Kelly Beth Phoenix match in the bad. It was okay, but I think the ending was very crappy. No, I don't put it in the bad. I put it in okay, but nothing in the bad. It's just okay. Like the Divas title match, and also the battle of the matches between the two Sin Cara Black versus Sin Cara Blue. Besides that, it was a decent matches on the show, like the opener, Christian versus Sheamus, the two Hell in a Cell matches. Like I said, they don't need to be inside Hell in a Cell, but they did deliver. Mark Henry versus Randy Orton, the triple threat match between Cena, Del Rio, and Punk. The Cody Rhodes, the tag team title match was good between Air Boom versus Ziggler and Swagger, and the IC title match between Cody versus John Morrison. That was fun. So, anyway, so that's my review of WWE Hell in a Cell 2011. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash the like button, click the bell, subscribe to the channel, be part of the Central Unit for more wrestling videos and more. Next time, I'm going to bend the rules a little bit. Like I said, I'm covering the half year of Punk. I'm planning to spread it out. You know, it's not me just reviewing WWE pay-per-views of 2011 back to back to back. I'm going to bend the rules just one time. So let's travel 2 weeks later of that year. So let's review Vengeance. What's happening in the first pay-per-view under the John Laurinaitis era in WWE. So yeah, you had Austin Truth versus CM Punk. You had the return of the Big Show versus Mark Henry for the world title, and John Cena versus Del Rio for the WWE title in a last man standing match. You have to wait until you find out next time. So this is Central Man Official sign out. Check you later.